Good evening, everybody. It's your favorite Magister Lepidus Cato here. We're going to be going over some Caesar De Bello Gallico, Book 4, Chapter 29. So, for a little bit of context, the passage that I'm reading from is going to be some of the challenges that Caesar goes through when he's trying to go through the canals and on the way to invading the Britons. So let's get in it. Eadem nocte accidit, it happened on the very same night, such that it was a full moon, which the day they'd come accustomed to make the largest tides of the ocean, of the sea in the ocean. And it was unknown to us. So this passage tells us a few things. Tells us that it's a full moon, which means what we know now through science is that the tides are going to come in. They're going to be extremely high. And also, it's a little bit of shifting blame off of Caesar with this id erat incognitem, meaning that it wasn't known to anybody, wasn't known to Caesar. He couldn't do anything about it, because if Caesar knows, he always does the right thing. We have a little picture of Poseidon here just to remind us about our friends down below. Oh, and here this nocte is going to be an ablative of time when. The other ablative of time when is going to be this uno tempore right here, and this et is going to start off in et clause, which you'll see the ending of later, and it's going to start off with in this way. At the same time, both the long ships, quibus, this quibus is going to refer to long ships, which Caesar, by which Caesar had taken care of transporting his army. So this is going to be a gerundive. We have our object over here of transporting his army, and which Caesar had led onto land, the tide had filled up. So what this is saying is he brought these ships into land, and the tide quickly rose up in a way that he was not expecting. And then this will shed some more light onto what's happening. This is the second half of your et. So, and the honorarias, which are the supply ships, they're the ones that resupply, they carry people. So, and the supply ships, which were bound to anchor, which we would render more as which were bound at anchor. So the ships are anchored down. The storm was striking repeatedly. So we have a storm that is affecting their ship. They're having a hard time because the storm is destroying their ship, as we will see in this, not this part, but the very next section. And not any power or opportunity, that's your facultas, was being given to us either of serving, of taking care of, or of giving aid. So the way that these storms and the tides are working, they're not being able to give help to Caesar or any of the other people. So here we're hit with a nice ab to start off, with a great many ships having been wrecked. And then we go into, we have a cum clause here, but we also have this nice ab from funibus, to amicis. And we have a ad navigandum, which is going to be a gerund of purpose with this odd plus gerund construction. So, as I said, with a great many ships having been wrecked, the remaining since were unusable for the purpose of sailing. with. And then this part right here is going to explain why they're can't be used for sailing. With ropes, anchors, with the remaining ropes, anchors, and our armamentis is kind of rigging, like this stuff right here. So having been lost. So it's explaining that with 3 of the core components of the ship having been lost, it is no longer able to be used for sailing. And as we can see here, the navibus have been fractus. Alright, so here the magna is going to go with the perturbatio, and we have this nice little section that is inserted into pretty much, in my opinion, is to switch some of the blame off of Caesar again with this necesse errata quitere. It was necessary to happen. So even if he had control over it, it was something that was fate. It was necessary to happen. So a large disturbance, which was necessary to happen, to occur. Facta est literally means was done. We render that more happened. So happened of the entire army. So we have our soldiers here. They're getting in a tizzy and a chaos because they don't know what's going on with these tempestas and Eustis. Alright, so we get on to this neque inem. This quibus reportari possent is going to be a relative clause of characteristic. So, here we go. And for no other ships were, other ships were of the type, of which they could be brought back. So talking about a type of ship that would bring them back. And all were lacking, which were of service. This could be a dative. Were of service in order to repair ships. So what this part is talking about is that they were not able to repair the ships. And because all were standing firm, that's also going to be like we're certain, means like made up their minds. It was necessary to pass the winter in Gaul. Grain was not foreseen for the winter in these places. So what this section is telling us is that because the Romans had thought that they were going to spend the winter in Gaul, they hadn't had any grain. Shout out to my boy Clodius. They did not have any grain that could be used in Britain. So those are a couple of the struggles that the Romans had to go through. And thank you for watching. I know that my classmates also have some amazing videos on 4.28 through 4.33. So I would appreciate if you gave those a watch, like and subscribe for more content like this. And see you all later.